is where MAGA comes to talk. I'm still setting up for the morning. Welcome, everyone. We got a lot to cover on today's show. Very exciting show ahead today. Oh, I can't wait. Okay. Hey, everyone. Yes. So much to cover today. Very exciting. I'll start the mainstream in a few minutes because I'm still setting up here. Let's see. Okay. What is this? Is it this way or that way? No, I've got it. Okay. 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 I'm just setting up still, guys. I'll be with you shortly. I'm working on some commercials. Then I'll get the show started. No. can't find the commercial I'm looking for. Let's see. Perfect. This is stuff I normally do before I start the feed. I didn't think it would take me this long. I'm moving around because the camera's in my way. So I can't see everything I need on the screen, so I gotta move around to see all the options on the monitor. No. There we go. Okay, so that was okay, there we go. All right. We're getting close now, guys. A lot goes into doing a show in the morning, you know? More than you think. That's why I get up so early. I've been working on hours making new commercials for the show this morning. Some of which are done and will play today, and some will play this afternoon and tomorrow. Now, I'm going to start the mainstream in a moment. So to see and hear all the audio and the video and the images I show, you have to go to the mainstream. I'm going to put a link in just a moment to that stream in the description. All right. On this stream with the green behind me, you can see and hear me and hear the callers, but you can't see or hear the audio, the video, the things I show. You have to go to the mainstream for that. The things I show. And the number to call in is pinned in the live stream. Okay. We are good to go, friends. Good to go. The pre-show is about to begin. Oh, well, hold on. Something's unplugged. Okay, the phone system was unplugged. Hold on, I got to get that going first. I'm glad I noticed that. All these things that go into doing a show. It's time consuming. Yeah, it's definitely caffeine time. Hey, Jimmy Ray. Now, I'm going to start the mainstream in a minute. And to see and hear all the audio and video and all the images I show, you got to go to the mainstream, which is linked in the description. As soon as I get the phone set up, I'll do it. You get the benefits of the green screen effect on the mainstream. This is kind of like your behind the scenes look. Okay. It's embarrassing. There's been more than one show where I have not turned on the phones before the show. Okay, they are operating, but the cord is in the way. I'll have to fix that after the show. All right, we are good to go. All right, here we go. By the way, Jimmy Ray, thanks for that super chat. Jimmy Ray used to work with Steve and I over 30 years ago at another radio station. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And man, oh man, do we have a lot to cover on today's show. And Miranda Devine did an incredible interview with Caroline Leavitt. And Caroline Leavitt busted a spy ring in the West Wing of the White House. I'm going to share that with you in a moment. And this is it's so interesting. These, I don't hear them say this too much anymore because the media are basically, the media that we have in Russia or in Washington are like the media they had in Russia during the days of the Soviet Union. They're just press agents for the political establishment, and they're not real reporters. But when I was growing up, all these reporters would always tell you that they dreamed of having their own Watergate story, level story. They dreamed of being Woodward and Bernstein. And by the way, Woodward and Bernstein are fake reporters. That was a deep state operation. They didn't investigate or uncover anything. But you know what I mean. Now, reporters are so far gone as to what actually they are, who they are, what a journalist is. They don't even know what that is anymore. And they have massive stories every day that are dropped on their lap, and they don't cover any of them. Sometimes they're forced to mention them in passing, but they don't want to cover the news, and because the news, they have an agenda. They're not about the news. The news media are not about the news. They're about covering up the news, basically. So Miranda Devine has a very good podcast. It's called Podcast One, which of course is a play on Air Force One, and it's a New York Post podcast. She's a columnist, a reporter, a journalist with the New York Post, and they have this podcast for her called Podforce One, and it's very good. She gets top interviews with the top people in the Trump cabinet. Her first show was with the president, and she had a sit down with Caroline Leavitt. There were two things out of the interview that were interesting. I'm just going to focus on one of them now. I may or may not get to the second one later on, but maybe I will. Let me just play it for you, and then we'll talk about it. And yes, Caroline Leavitt did bust a spy ring in the West Wing of the White House. Listen.
questions, answer their questions. And what was happening up here is now that we have taken over the responsibilities of the National Security Council, thanks to the restructuring of Secretary Rubio, we became National Security Advisor. Steve and Shawna and I are responsible for all communications matters, including national security. And so we felt that it became very inappropriate for reporters to be loitering around sensitive information in our offices. And we did unfortunately catch some unruly reporters reporting us without our permission, listening in on conversations, eavesdropping. We'd have staff meetings in the morning. Some of the reporters started to pick up on that, and we'd walk out and they would be out there trying to listen. You know, Secretary Rubio or the chief want to come in and brief us on something. You'd have reporters out there heckling them, and it just became an inappropriate work environment. And so now they're welcome up here, but it's by appointment only. And so a lot of the outrage you're seeing on Twitter, they've told us privately they're okay with how the system works so long as they can still have appointments with me to understand the news of the day. And we grant them that access. I give them as much time as I possibly can on my schedule. Although a lot of my time is with the president and in the Oval Office and sitting in on meetings. So I try to devote as much time as I can to the press because that is my job, right? That's the basic duty is for me to work with the press and make sure they're telling the truth out there.
Okay, so if you're watching on the live screen with the green wall behind me, you have to go to my main live stream on YouTube to see and hear all the audio and video that I play. And there's a link to my main live stream in the description of the video with the green wall behind me. Okay, so you guys can go there, rewind a little bit, you can hear all that. So this is actually the second time this has happened in the second term of Trump, busting these spy rings. And the spy rings, it's the reporters, right? So what Caroline Leavitt said is completely insane. They were walking around, they had free access to anywhere they wanted to go in the West Wing, pretty much, except the Oval Office, prior to just a couple of days ago, courtesy of Caroline Leavitt catching them. And these reporters weren't just eavesdropping, they were recording White House staffers without their knowledge. And what were they planning on doing with that? Now, some may say, you know, some in the audience that are liberally impaired, those of you that are liberally impaired may say, well, they're just doing journalism. They're secretly recording, and they're looking to report some stories. No, that's not what they're doing. They're secretly recording to find dirt that they can leak to the establishment and the deep state to use against the president and the administration. That's what they're doing. Pete Hegseth busted a similar spy ring at the Pentagon. I was in shock when I learned this, but at the Pentagon, prior to just a short time ago, because of our War Secretary, our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, reporters at the Pentagon could go anywhere they wanted. They had complete access, like they had the highest security clearances at the Pentagon. And those are reporters that aren't so famous as the one at the White House. Who are even these people? And what was that? That, of course, was a spy ring, too. You don't think that the CCP and Russia and America's other enemies don't have spies in the press corps at the Pentagon or the White House? Of course they do. And when you're eavesdropping on things, you don't just get secrets or personal information. You get to find out personal things about their lives and their relationships for other people that they can follow and everything else. Two of the biggest spy rings in this country have been shut down in this second term of President Trump. This one in the West Wing with the reporters, and the second one at the Pentagon. And you know, very little reporting on all of this. Now, the second thing, I didn't cue this one up. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find this one, because I wanted to play this and ask you guys a question about it. Okay, yeah, okay, here I have it. Let me just pull it up. Okay, now this next clip, this is Miranda Devine. If you're on hold, hang in there. This is Miranda Devine. This is the only other clip I'm going to play for. And by the way, I'm not kidding, and this is not clickbait. The White House press corps and the Pentagon press corps are spy rings. They had too much access that was given to them, especially by the last administration, half of which was on the take for this with the CCP, right? All that money, that diamond that Hunter Biden got and everything. These are massive spy rings. I'm not exaggerating, and this is not clickbait. In these, do you believe, with the access that the press corps had at the Pentagon and the White House, you don't think there's Russian and CCP spies in those groups? Of course there are. Especially the one at the Pentagon, where there's not such a spotlight on who they are like there is at the White House. Now, this next clip is a little controversial on a little different topic. I'll just play it for you, then I'll ask your thoughts on it. Okay, now her husband's a billionaire, I find it interesting that the only man that, when women say the only man they could click with is a billionaire. Now, I like Caroline Leavitt a lot, okay? And I agree with Miranda Devine. She is, in her professional life, because that's all that I know her as, and we know her as, right? She is, I would argue she's the best White House press secretary that we've ever had, right? She's not part of the press. She's not friends with the media. Even Sean Spicer came from the media, right? She's not from the media. She's not friends with them. She is very good. She always has the right answers. She has put them in their place every time she's had a press conference. She is tops. She is certainly, how old is she now? Is she 28 yet? I think she was 27 when she first got the job. Is she still 27? She's 27 or 28. And professionally, she is the best. And she's a great advocate for MAGA, for our president, and I have no issues with her. However, my daughter is the same age as Caroline Leavitt, all right? And her husband's older than me, right? My daughter, I was 28 when my daughter was born. So, you know, he's 4 years older than I am, but there's a 4-year greater age gap between Caroline Leavitt and her husband than there is between my daughter and myself. If my daughter came home and told me that she was marrying a man who was 32 years older than her right now, by the way, even if he was my age, not just 4 years older, I don't care how many billions of dollars he's worth, I would not approve of that as a father. What are your thoughts on that? I don't approve of that at all. I find it creepy. And, you know, my wife and I are the same age. My wife's a year older than I am. And I do know people that have big age gaps that have been in marriages, some of them long term. And I got to tell you, I've been married 29 years. That my 29th wedding anniversary with my wife is coming up. The first week in December is our wedding anniversary, December 3rd. 29 years on December 3rd. We've been married a long time. We get along so well. And one thing that my wife and I, we talk about this a lot. We also grew up in the same town. We went to different high schools, but we went to high schools in the same town. So we have there's so much crossover in our life because we're the same age. It helps that we were in the same town, you know, when we were underage and we're buying beer and wine coolers back then were all the rage. We used to buy it from the same place. We went to the same movie theater, the same mall in the 80s, you know, and all that stuff. But we have so many common interests when it comes to music, movies, our whole life. There's so much that we have in common that we connect with. because we're the same age. She's a year older than me. I find a 32-year age difference creepy. If and I think you in this now again, I have no issues with Caroline Leavitt. She is the best, and I love Caroline Leavitt. She is so good at what she does. But what would you think if your daughter in her 20s came home and was marrying a man in his 50s? What would you think about that? Would you approve of that? As a parent, would you approve of that? I would be. I don't care that the guy's a billionaire. I would not like it. I'd be very uncomfortable with it forever. I would never, I would accept it. One thing as a parent, when you have adult children, one of the things that you learn early on as you get adult children is they're adults and they're going to do what they do. But it would always bother me. That would be the kind of thing I would never be able to get over. Yeah. And I see this a lot with I've seen this a lot with people that are Christians. They get divorced and remarried, and in the evangelical world, and I've seen this with people I know and friends of friends. In the evangelical world, so I'm Catholic, but in the evangelical world, divorce is okay under certain circumstances, and there's this thing about being unevenly yoked. If you're a Christian, you know what that is all about. If you're not, just Google it. And it's amazing to me when these guys that are in their 40s or 50s or even 60s divorce their wives because they're unevenly yoked. They just happen to be yoked to somebody who's 25 with huge boobs and is blonde and looks like a model. It's amazing. It happens. It's like almost every time. They just happen to be evenly yoked with them. Now, even me, if I were not married today, if something, God forbid, happened, I could not see myself with someone that's the age of my daughter. I think it is weird and I think it's creepy. So I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on that. The number is 888-465-2631. Now, there's a lot of new issues that I'm going to cover today. I am going to recap that spy ring because that's a good one. But there was a story I covered yesterday that I am going to cover again today because it's so important. And I had it queued up. I was going to get to this anyway, but I see people in the chat are commenting on this. The media, I was telling you, they don't report the news. What they do is regurgitate lies. And I got a big one I'm going to share with you. But first, we're going to take a quick break, all right? My name is Brian Craig. This is The Early Show. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. No doubt about that. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be right back. Now again, if you're watching with the green wall behind me, if you go to my main live stream, you can see and hear all the audio and video that I share. And the link to my main stream is in the description of the video. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. Thanks for tuning in. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike. How you doing?
You know, what's the term they use every time? My source at the White House, right?
Yes.
My source at the White House says X, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we always want to know who their sources are. Well, we now know that their sources are themselves.
That's correct. Yes. They make up the sources.
They don't exist.
They have no sources. Correct.
They have no sources.
And reporters, they have, appreciate the call, Mike. And reporters have this code that they never will release the names of their sources. How convenient. So how do you know any of them ever have sources? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Elliot. I'm calling.
Elliot, turn down the volume in the background of whatever device you're listening to me on.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, Elliot, what's on your mind?
Well, I have one very important question. So you said earlier in the live stream, I thought it was very ironic. You said a 32-year age gap was big for you.
Mm-hmm.
When Trump was 46, he said to a 10-year-old that he would be dating her in 10 years.
No, you're talking about with his daughter. That, well, you know, context. You don't understand this, okay?
No, it was a random kid in the mall.
No, that's BS. That's made up. All right, I'm not even going to have a discussion with somebody that's talking about made up things. That's 1,000% incorrect. Everything they said was incorrect. You know, it's really sad. You know, remember those commercials of "Mind is a terrible thing to waste." I don't have time to educate every liberal idiot that calls the program. I do it a lot, but I'm not going to do it every time. Okay, so I want to go through this again. And I do want to hear your thoughts, by the way, on the 32-year age gap between Caroline Leavitt and her husband. You know, the age gap becomes less important the older the woman is, by the way. Although it's still an issue, right? You know, but when you're talking about somebody in their early mid-20s and someone in their 50s, it's a whole nother deal. Okay, so this Miss Piggy slander that's going around. I spent all day yesterday going over this. I'm going to go over it with you again. He does not say Piggy, he says Peggy. And when you hear the audio and you've been told, see, this is how the media propagandists operate, okay? That's how they operate. They operate by spreading propaganda. The audio clip is poor audio because it's on Air Force One. You've got the jet engines behind you, okay? So, you know, it muffles everything out. And when they tell you that he said Piggy, you might think it sounds like Piggy. Maybe. But he says Peggy. And now that you know he says Peggy, listen to it. And it's clear as day. Quiet, Peggy. You hear it? Now he's pissed and he's pointing at her, which means that she's one of the regular reporters that are annoying him, and she's interrupting the President of the United States, but it is clearly Peggy. See? Quiet, Peggy. And if he would have said Piggy, there would have been a reaction from the media. In fact, there's a male reporter, if you're watching on the main live stream, if you're watching with the green wall behind me, To see and hear all the audio and video that I share, you need to go to my main live stream. There's a direct link to my main YouTube live stream in the description of the video with the green wall behind me. There's a male reporter on the right of the screen. There's no reaction from this guy because he said Peggy. He didn't say, if he would have said Piggy, there would have been a reaction from the media. See, quiet Peggy. See, quiet Peggy. You know, it's amazing. The media have always been manipulators. There's no doubt about that. The whole Spanish-American War was occurred because of a lie. Remember the Maine and all that. And if you're not familiar with that, you know, that's the problem with schools today. You know, they got all this DEI requirements and everything, and they don't teach history. Even these journalists probably don't even know the reference, Remember the Maine. But, you know, there's been media manipulation throughout all of time. However, during a lot of the time when the media was out there manipulating, like the Remember the Maine, what was the literacy rate in the United States in 1898 when that happened? A lot of people could read, but a lot couldn't. So, you know, and in the last 25 years, we've had this entire new media, of which I'm a part of, explode to call everything out. You know, and because there is new media now, we have so many new outlets, they don't have a monopoly on the messaging now, and it's more difficult for them, but they're successful from time to time. There's no getting around that. The media had a big success in the Mamdani victory, unfortunately, in New York. By the way, tomorrow the president will be meeting in the Oval Office with Mamdani. We'll talk about that too coming up. And the media, what the media did was convince those opposed to Mamdani in New York that it was hopeless, that he couldn't be beaten. And between that PSYOP manipulation and Curtis Sliwa, that was it. Mamdani won. So they did have a victory in New York with that. You know, not that Cuomo's a creep and a bad dude, but Mamdani's worse for all the reasons we've talked about a lot. But now that we can call them out, you know, you got to wonder throughout our lives, how many things have we been manipulated on that we haven't even discovered yet by the fake news media? All right. If you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's John Permine out of California.
Hey, what's up?
First of all, I don't really care if he called her Piggy, Peggy, or whatever. As far as I'm concerned, he can call the media, especially the people that end up creating such havoc for him. He can call them whatever they.
Oh, I agree.
Like
I agree with that 100%. No, if he said Piggy, it wouldn't
I'm
bother
over
me.
it.
It wouldn't bother me. In fact,
it wouldn't bother me.
Not only would it not bother me, I would still be playing the clip, and I'd be very happy about it because they are all pigs.
They are. They called him fascist. They called him everything in the book. As far as I'm concerned, he should just let them have it, and he should let them have it all the time. As far as I'm concerned, I think that that press room, the briefing room, where they end up getting the White House briefing, I think half of them should be kicked out.
Yes.
They don't deserve to be there.
Well, this business that, because I don't do clickbait. So I don't want you to think that my title and thumbnail about the spy ring is clickbait. It's not. Caroline Leavitt told Miranda Devine in that interview yesterday that her and her staff caught reporters in their offices recording them and recording conversations, personal conversations, without their knowledge. That's spying at the White House.
They shouldn't be in there. They've lost the privilege.
Correct.
As far as I'm concerned, and no member of that organization deserves to be there. That is a highly respected position. And if you can't do your job with some sort of ethics and morals, no matter what happens,
yes,
then forget about it. You don't deserve to be there.
Absolutely.
I'm tired of it. President Trump needs to open the floodgates of whip ass, and that's it. We are seeing some.
Well, what's going to happen. Okay? Okay. Apparently, and I don't know how this came to be, the White House briefing room is somehow under the authority of the White House Press Corps, which is an independent office of these creeps. They, for some reason, they own that space, right? President Trump, I've heard him mention on at least 2 occasions that the new ballroom, that's where he's going to be doing press conferences a lot because there's more space. The press briefing room is too little. The East Wing is where Caroline Leavitt and her staff were located, the one that was demolished. I think President Trump is going to freeze the media out, and he's going to relocate press briefings in the East Wing where they don't have authority, and they can sit by themselves in the current press room that he's not going to have press conferences in anymore. I think that's part of his plan to kick the fake news out of the White House.
Okay, just real quick, because I know I don't have a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, the East Wing is no longer there because the ballroom's going to be there, right?
Well, the ballroom will be a big part of it, but I'm assuming there's going to be some office space in there too. That's where Caroline Leavitt and her staff were located.
Well, no, I get that, but what is actually physically present as of right now? The East Wing's not, right?
Yeah, it's all gone. It's all gone right now.
Okay. So I know Trump listens to. I know Trump people listen to your radio station, your pop, whatever. Mm-hmm. Hey, remember where Biden ended up having his fake presentation?
Yes, across the street.
The press room is So since the press room is owned by whomever, move it.
Well, that's what he's doing.
Just move it.
That's what he's doing. The ballroom is going to double as that.
But he can do it now.
And they're so stupid and arrogant, they don't even know it. He's told them this a couple times. I've heard him talk about it. They don't even know what's happening. They're stupid, the press.
Just move it now. Just move it and open the can of whip-ass, because I'm tired of this.
I'll tell you, there's one member of the press that that Heinrich, the Fox News reporter. She covers the White House with Ducey, something Heinrich.
Okay.
I can't remember her first name. She's blonde. You've seen her before. She just got engaged to a member of Congress. I've noticed a big change in her. Very arrogant. It's like now that she's in with this congressman, she's part of the permanent Washington class now, and her whole personality has changed. Now they've opened up the books to her. She's one of them now. The press are scumbags. And this story that there were members of the media recording senior White House staff on their whatever devices without their knowledge, that is such a violation and security risk. It is a spy ring. They were spying on them. And I don't know if what they were doing was, maybe it was illegal.
I don't care. I move it and empty that place out and make it into, I don't know, an inside garden and make it absolutely useless. Have dust on the chairs. Well, I don't care.
Underneath the floor is President Kennedy's swimming pool is underneath the floor. Make it a swimming pool again.
Well, then make it a swimming pool. Make it a swimming pool again and dump them all in the water. I don't care.
That's correct. I agree with you.
Bye.
All right. Appreciate the call. Yeah, I agree with everything she said. If you're on hold, hang in there. It's the top of the hour now, so we're going to be transferring over to the radio station in a minute. So I'm not going to take any calls until, let me see, when do I have the time? Oh, okay. Okay. I'm waiting to hear from Mike. He'll tell me what time we're coming on. So stand by. Now, guys, I want to tell you that make sure you do your Christmas shopping at mypillow.com. All right? We're, it's at the first of the year, I'm hopefully going to be able to make his sponsorship of the pre-show a permanent thing. And you guys really have shown up and have been, look at this, we got the Black Friday super sale. I didn't even know about that. Holy smokes. Look at this. Holy camole. Look at all this stuff going on there. The Bible pillows and everything else that's going on. Look at that. Holy smokes. Oh boy, I'm going to have to talk about that today. But go to mypillow.com and do your Christmas shopping because you guys really have been stepping up, okay? And for me to make it a permanent sponsorship for the pre-radio show, we're going to have a good November and December. So it's promo code Kane. You can use my promo code Kane at checkout on everything at mypillow.com. And also, if you'd like to support my channel, become a Patreon supporter. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you get access to a lot of cool things, including commercial-free editions of my podcast episode. In fact, I'll be putting up later today the most recent podcast, commercial-free. There's a link in the description to my Patreon page, but I also do live streams there on the Patreon platform itself that's available only to Patreon supporters. And anybody that's in the chat room right now that was in my live stream for Patreon supporters only the other day, you know what I mean? It's a different, it's the same format as here on YouTube. There's no trolls, and you get a real good behind the scenes look, and I talk about a lot of things pretty openly that I don't talk about here on the program. So you get access to all kinds of things. You got to be a paying Patreon supporter. So go to patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show, or look for the link in the description of the video and become a Patreon supporter. All right, guys? Okay. Let's see. Let me get to the first. I'm going to recap the Caroline Leavitt thing and about the spy ring, and then I'm going to move into some of the other stories, okay? Okay. We got about 45 seconds and we'll be live. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. Yes, Trump was right about everything. Callers on hold. You stand by. We'll get to the calls in a bit. Welcome, everyone. The number is pinned in the live stream if you'd like to call in. I'm behind on my coffee, so mentally, I need another 20 minutes before I'm fully awake, so good luck on the phones. This is your best chance to get me. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Flo Rida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Much to cover today. Callers already on hold. Hang in there. We'll go to the phones shortly, but we do have a lot to cover here. And I want to start with something that is a very serious matter. And when I tell it to you, your first reaction may be that it's not, but it is. There have been 2 spy operations, major spy operations, shut down by the Trump administration in this second term. And there's been no reporting of it, not in that fashion. There's been some griping and mentions of these stories, but not put in its proper context, which is what I'm doing here today. And I find this so alarming. Miranda Devine. I love Miranda Devine. She had that great story that I covered the other day about the furry club that Crooks, the butler, attempted assassin of President Trump, was in. The same one, that furry sex cult, the same one that the Charlie Kirk assassin was in, right? She's very good. She wrote, which probably is one of the most important political books ever written, Laptop from Hell, which I highly recommend, the audiobook. Even though Biden's retired, get that book. The audiobook's better than the printed edition. It's no matter how corrupt you think you know Biden is, you don't know nothing, which is a double negative, which means you know everything. I know, but I said the double negative on purpose for effect. Miranda Devine's book, Laptop from Hell, is frightening. It's as scary as a Stephen King novel. It really is. I'm not exaggerating. It really is. She's a great journalist, and she has a podcast called Pod Force One that she does for the New York Post, and she gets all the top Trump officials there. She did a sit-down interview with Caroline Leavitt, and Caroline Leavitt shut down a spy ring at the White House, and I want to share this with you. Listen.
Away
Okay. So, yeah. So, Caroline Levitt, which she said there, when I heard this, it blew my mind away. Members of the White House press corps were recording in restricted areas, recording private conversations between White House staffers without their knowledge. They weren't there doing journalism. They were looking for dirt, not to report in their media outlets, but to report to the Never Trumpers, to report to pundits, to report to the deep state. They were looking for dirt. This is an extension of the wiretapping on Trump Tower. The other spy ring that was recently busted was by the great Pete Hegseth, the war secretary. I could not believe when Pete Hegseth made this known. I bet you this shocked even him. The Pentagon press corps, which isn't as high profile or as famous as the White House people, they had complete access to every area of the Pentagon as if they had the highest security clearances. And I don't know how long this has been going on, decades, the last 4 years, I don't know. You don't think that the White House press corps with this kind of access, illegally recording people? Well, I don't know if it's illegal in D.C. It's federal property. I don't know. In the White House? I don't know. But without their knowledge, recording them with devices, what, in their pockets, their phones? In the Pentagon, having access to the whole building? The most secret areas? You don't think that Russia and China have spies embedded in the media? Of course they do. This is a spy ring that was busted. A spy ring maybe for international threats, but also for the enemies that are involved in this coup against our president that's ongoing, like these Congress people that are calling on the military to rise up against the commander-in-chief. This is scary stuff. And while it's been mentioned about this access being restricted, I don't think it's been put in its proper context like I've just done with you. This was a spy ring. This was a wiretapping of sorts. You know, if President Trump and his team were all these terrible things that they think they are, why have they not been able to find something all these years? It's because he's a squeaky clean Marine, as are the people around him. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this at 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Also, tomorrow, Mom Donnie is going to be meeting with the president at the White House in the Oval Office. And I don't know, because we don't have a lot of information. President Trump's very transparent. And most of these things he does, you know, when he has these people at the White House, everything is very visible. You know, I expect the media to be out there with the camera to watch him come in. I don't know if the president's going to greet him. Is he going to go into that fancy entrance on the side of the West Wing where all the dignitaries pull up? Or like most visitors that meet with the president, they go to the old executive office building and there's a back entrance that they use that's not so fancy? I don't know. We don't know if there's going to be a sit-down televised press conference like we see with the president when there's important visitors. I don't know. I know President Trump will handle everything and he'll do it right. I'm not worried about any of that. However, you know, Mom Donnie, who's a bad dude, I played a clip yesterday that I am going to play later. Mayor Adams told Jews to leave New York City, that it's not safe for them with what's happening. And what I was telling Steve about this yesterday is that my belief is that Mayor Adams' team has been working with Mom Donnie's transition team, and it scared the daylights out of them on who they're doing the transition with. So it's like 1933 Munich going on in New York City right now. And Mom Donnie will be meeting with the president tomorrow. All right. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. You know, hey, you know, this time of year, before Dr. Appleton rid me of pain, this was one of those times of year where my aches and pains that I no longer have, like my knee injury, my knee pain that I had from a car accident years ago, because the weather's been colder. And like with the rainy season and the cold, man, The pain, my arthritis in my hand that I didn't even know with arthritis, it would be acting up this time of year. And I've said bye-bye to all my pain because of Dr. Appleton. But as we approach Thanksgiving, don't go to Thanksgiving in pain. Go see Dr. Appleton. You know, we have listeners. I meet so many listeners who are living a pain-free life now. I was telling you the other guy, you know, when I meet listeners out and about, it's almost every time, you know, I'll meet them out and about at the grocery store, or I'll meet them, like I was at Friendly Tire, ran into a listener all day. It seems like almost every listener I meet to this program was in some type of pain, and they not only were in pain, they had given up on the whole idea that they would ever rid themselves of this pain until they went to see Dr. Philip Appleton. You know, the consultation is free. It's a no-charge consultation. Appointments are never necessary, and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. Don't go to Thanksgiving dinner in pain. Go see Dr. Appleton. Take advantage of that no-charge consultation and let Dr. Appleton explain to you what his robotic laser can do to rid you of pain, like I've done 7 times. It's amazing. You know, I'm standing taller. I'm better. I have more energy because that pain was wearing me out. I'm not in pain anymore. You know, and I've got so much wine. I was in a lot of pain before I met Dr. Appleton. And a lot of times in the afternoon, I'd have a martini. Now, I have some Tito's in the freezer still, or wine. And at the top of my refrigerator, I have more bottles of wine that I don't drink anymore, really, except on the cruise. Because I didn't take any pain medication, but I would have martinis or a glass of wine late in the day to help me sleep and help me forget about my pain. Those days are over. Give Dr. Appleton a call. We've had listeners travel from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton. He's that good, people. It works. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. Because appointments are not necessary, you can make them, though. Don't think you can't make them. You can make appointments. They're just not needed. And online, AppletonChiro.com. Go see Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. We'll be right back. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, and it's pinned in the live chat, okay? 888-465-2631. I'll be right back. All right, we'll be back. We're in radio break right now. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. I'll go to the calls. You're welcome to call in about anything I brought up, even in the pre-show. All right, we've covered quite a bit today, and I will go to the phones. All right. All right. We're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
South Carolina.
Hey, South Carolina. What's on your mind?
I was calling about the Caroline Levitt age gap.
Uh-huh.
I agree with you.
Well, hold on. Let me answer these other lines. My phones are ringing off the hook. Yeah, just to recap, I was talking earlier. Caroline Levitt's husband is 32 years older than her, and she was talking about that to Miranda Devine. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so, but I agree with you with age gap. I would not let my kid get married to a person that age gap, but oddly enough, we know of a 25-year-old that married a 40-year-old. We also know a 65-year-old that married a 21-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest age gap I've seen.
Yeah.
But my great-grandmother, she married a person that was 40 years older than she was.
Oh, my goodness.
But she always told my mom that she would rather be an old man's darling than a young man's slave.
Yeah, I guess.
So I just thought that was interesting. But
well,
no, I agree with you, though.
See, Caroline Levitt's the same age as my daughter, and Caroline Levitt's husband is I think 4 years older than me, around about. So there's a bigger age gap between Caroline Levitt and her husband than my daughter and myself, right? I was 28 when my daughter was born. I turned 29 soon after, but you know. And you can't, you don't let your kids do anything when they're adults. They do what it is that they do. But I would not be happy if my daughter, who is in her 20s, was marrying a guy in his 50s. I don't care if he's a billionaire or not. I just, and you know, Caroline Levitt's husband's a billionaire. I love Caroline Levitt. Okay, don't take this as criticism of her. Because I think she's the greatest press secretary this country has ever had. She's so good. But that age gap, I would not like it if my daughter came home and was going to marry a man older than me. I would not like it.
Exactly.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. All right, yeah. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Ronnie from Orange County, California.
All right, you got to get closer to the phone. You're on the speaker. Can you pick up the phone?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. Yeah, just... We'll wait. I hope the call's worth the wait. It's hard for him to get off the speaker.
Okay, my man.
Okay, you're a little better. What's your name? Where are you calling from again?
Ronnie from Orange County, California.
All right, Orange County. What's up?
Hey, if I could just indulge you here for just a second. I do not understand one thing, Brian, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to agree with me. How can you even put into your own sense of being that you're going to vote for another Democrat when they lie straight to your face, they steal from you, they let people that come across, we had an immigration policy already in place, and they threw that out the window.
Well, you ask a good question. Hold on. You ask a good question, and your question is, how can anyone vote Democrat when they see how evil they are, right?
Sure.
Okay. When
Absolutely.
you look at the Democrats today, whether it's the ones that call me here on the program or the ones that are in Congress, like Jasmine Crockett, they're all mental patients.
Yes, sir.
They're all mental patients, aren't they? They're all crazy people.
When all of them drank the Kool-Aid, and they all drank the Kool-Aid, because I have never seen in my life, especially being in California, and our great Governor Newsom, he's doing nothing for us. He's out here running his mouth, going to South America. We still have high gas prices. What did he do with the homeless money? Those poor people up in the Palisades, and I used to live in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And up there in Eaton Canyon. All that money is gone. The money for the high-speed rail going to Vegas, that's all gone. when is this going to come to a head?
They're criminals. Never. Well, it is now. The Democrat Party is fading out of existence because of this. I mean, in California, they're still running California, but I'm telling you, in the with the deportations and everything that's going on, okay, in the next couple of presidential election cycles, California is about to become a toss-up battleground state. And we may see some of that
absolutely.
We may see some of that in the midterms.
I can tell you from here, from Orange County, we are going red. And if you don't see it there, if you're in New York or anywhere like that, you don't get it posted up the way that we do. Just because Prop 50 did not pass, I believe that there were still some shaky deals going on in there, because there was X amount of people voted for President Trump and only half of them
but you know what?
came out to vote.
You know what? Listen, I tell this to people a lot. There are more registered Republicans in California than in the state of Florida. All right? And we are a red state. Okay? And we're not a tiny state. Florida is a massive state. We're set in the next census or two to become the most populated state, replacing, being number one in population. So this is not Rhode Island. It's a big state. California, and I'm expecting to see some of this in the midterms. The illegals are afraid to go to the grocery stores, right? They're afraid to take their kids to school. So what's the turnout going to be on Election Day like? How many illegals are involved in all kinds of things, and they're not going to show up? So the midterm elections is going to be the first gauge of such things.
And see, that's what they have been trying to redistrict everything up here. They are now putting Mexican Americans in one certain section. That's what they're trying to do, into that certain section of the state, so that they can redistrict it.
Mexican Americans? You mean Mexican Americans or Mexicans in America?
Well, I always look at everybody straight. They want to come here and make a better life for themselves. But Biden just screwed the pooch. He screwed the pooch so bad for us. They don't even understand. Even here, I have a Democrat living next to me, and I'm a Republican. He thought that only the bad stuff was going to happen to me because I was a Republican. But when you go to the gas station and you're still paying over $5 a gallon for regular, and the food prices, they're starting to come down. But if everybody didn't think this, it was going to take a minute for Donald Trump to take his deal that he's got going on now and get this thing straightened out, because look how long it took to get it screwed up.
That's right. That's right. Well, listen, I got to run, but I don't think you've called me before.
Yes,
you're a very good caller, so make sure you call again sometime, all right?
I got you on my phone now, Brian. I'm going to be talking to you soon.
All right. Take care.
Thanks,
all right.
sir.
Great caller. Great caller. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about George Colony, our real estate guy. Real estate is hotter now in Florida than it has ever been. Yeah, I was shocked. I just saw a local story. Mark Wahlberg has a home in Delray Beach. That blew me away. That Delray Beach would be on Mark Wahlberg's radar, but it is. He has a massive mansion there. Real estate in Florida is hot. People from all over the United States are moving to Florida right now, and especially from New York. You want to call George Colony. If you're moving to Florida, call George Colony. He can set you up. If you're looking to buy or rent in Florida from another state, or moving from one part of Florida to the other, he'll set you up. If you're looking to sell your property, he'll hook you up too. Whether it's a home, whether it's a condo, no matter what it is. Okay, he is the best. He's been in real estate here in Florida my entire life. I've known of George Colony for as long as I can remember. Growing up in South Florida, I've seen his name all over town my whole life. We didn't know each other personally like we do now, but I knew who he was. Just because his name was up all over town. Even when I was in high school, he knows Florida real estate like no one else. And we were introduced to George Colony by Tom Laporta. So like Tom Laporta, George Colony gives out his cell phone. You can call or text. His number is 954-801-7320. 954-801-7320. Give George Colony a call. 954-801-7320. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number to call in is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. All right, we're still in break on the radio. Let me see. When are we coming back here? Less than a minute. We got about 40 seconds. Guys, let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Let me know in the chat what kind of device you're watching me on. Phone, computer, or television? Or a tablet? If there's another I haven't mentioned. Phone, computer, television, or tablet? What are you watching me on right now? Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. Okay, things are really coming to a head over these Democrats in Congress calling on members of the military to, defy orders from their commanding officers at every level. That'd be sergeants too, right? Corporals and sergeants. All the way up to the commander-in-chief. And Fox News did a lot of very good coverage. This first clip I'm going to play, this is Trace Gallagher, and then Martha MacCallum. Oh, man, she was on fire. Did you guys see Martha MacCallum about this yesterday? I'm going to get to that in a bit. But I like Trace Gallagher. He's one of the only people on Fox that I can say that I've never been pissed off at. He's like a real old-fashioned journalist. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. And I'm going to get to in a bit, Martha MacCallum had one of those Congress people on, and she filleted this guy. And I'm going to go through that segment coming up in a little bit. What they, and then Stephen Miller, let me play this a little bit of Stephen Miller, and then we'll get to Martha MacCallum in a bit. This is Stephen Miller with Will Cain on Fox talking about it yesterday afternoon. Yep. Okay, because one of those congresswomen's a CIA person. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Stephen Miller, who's always, isn't he great? Oh, man. What these military members have done is sedition, it's treason, it's crazy. And you know what I was just thinking as I was listening to Stephen Miller talk there about it? You know what it reminds me of? There was a, make sure I got the right, I got a couple clips of her with this monster, and I'm not sure, okay, this one here, I'm going to start with that one, okay, of Martha McCallum. You know what this reminds me of? You know, what they're calling to do, what they're calling for is this, these Democrats, Mark Kelly and the rest. They're calling on the military to rise up against their superiors, not just the president, their immediate superiors, the corporals, the sergeants, the lieutenants, and on up. You know what this reminds me of? Yesterday I said it reminded me of those hippies in the Vietnam War that were talking about telling soldiers to frag their officers. No, that's not what it reminds me at all of. Now when I think about it, you know, because yesterday was just happening. It was, you know, and now that I've had a day and I've seen the coverage of it, it reminds me, remember that girl who was tried, convicted, and sent to prison? She was held responsible for the death of her boyfriend through the text messaging. Remember that? It's the same thing. You know, if someone in the military does what they say and acts out and hurts or kills someone, are they responsible? You know, I'll tell you another thing too, where I'm very curious about. They did it. They said it. We know. I'd like to know how this came to be. You know, people have ideas all the time. These are people that have large staffs, all of them. You mean to tell me that no one said, hey, this is sedition, this could incite violence, this is a bad idea? Where did this come from? I'll tell you where I think it came from, and Stephen Miller alluded to this, deep state. This is some deep state plot. This is what they do. You know, what's going on with Trump, and it's been going on since he came down the escalator. What they've been doing with President Trump from the time he came down the escalator to the moment in time that we're living through at this moment, and everything in between, what they've been doing to President Trump is what the deep state does in other countries to influence politics there, to cause distrust, to cause unrest, to cause revolutions. This is a deep state psyop hoping to cause some type of revolution inside the military. All right, let me pull this up. This is Martha McCallum. She has one of the Democrats from the video on. Jason Crow. He's a Democrat from Colorado. He was an Army Ranger, okay? And he's on. And Martha McCallum does a darn good job with him. That's right. Mm. The fact that he won't stop talking, he knows that, oh man, I shouldn't have done this interview. Yeah.
For everyone who serves in the military, including you, sir, for the sacrifice that you made. I did not make that sacrifice myself, so I put everyone who makes that sacrifice in a very special place in my heart. And I believe they're the service members. So you have put out this video. It's getting a lot of attention. I thank you for joining me to talk about it. And I think, you know, people can look at it and take away from it what they want. I just want to give you an opportunity to be specific about what illegal acts you were referring to. So thank you for being here, Congressman. Thank you again for your service.
Okay, and I got another clip from this I'm going to play coming up later. I'd like to hear your thoughts about this. This is no doubt a deep state psyop to cause disunity, mistrust, and perhaps even revolution from inside our military. No doubt in my mind. And while recruitment is up, there's still a lot of misguided liberal lunatics and a lot of illegals in the military. Who knows how they're going to take this? They're just as far gone as with their hatred of Trump as your average Democrat, except they're still in the service because their time isn't up yet. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. I just saw this at Mike Lindell's website, mypillow.com. The Black Friday sale is going on right now at mypillow.com. The Black Friday super sale with our promo code Kane. Holy smokes, look at this. The Bible Story 5-pillow pack, just $29.98. Holy smokes, those are normally just under $200. These are incredible Christmas gifts, okay? There's 5 pillows. All of them, got the My Pillow inside. The cover each tells a story from the Bible. These are great Christmas gifts for your kids. Your grandkids will love them. Just $29.98 with our promo code Kane. The regular price is $199.90. The duvet covers, the blankets, the slippers, huge discounts. Some items I've not seen in a long time. The My Pillow Down Comforter, $300 off. Many different types of blankets that are not at mypillow.com that often are back for this amazing Black Friday special. It's a super sale, no doubt about it. The My Pillow, My Slippers, all styles, all colors, all sizes, just $39.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. Normally $149.98. The Black Friday super sale is on. Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, for huge savings. Callers on hold, you stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back. All right, we're clear. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take the calls after the break, okay? Yeah, there's a lot to cover. I mean, there's no getting around it, guys. There is a lot to cover. Oh, man. I'm having problems with my screensaver on my phone. Oh, my. Hold on. Might have some breaking news here that the media don't want to tell you about. Hold on. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Let me see when we're going to be back. Okay, I've got time to show this to you during the break, and I can check for profanity. Nick Sorter, he's there. Wall Street Apes tweeted this. This is Dearborn, Michigan. Americans surrounded by Muslims yelling, Allah Akbar. Watch this. Yeah, I can't play this on the radio. Look at that. They're yelling Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. I mean, that is... It looks to me that it's being occupied right now. Look at this. This is frightening. I wish I could play it on the radio, but you guys got a little sneak peek. I've never. This is this Nick Sorter guy. He is a brave guy, a real journalist, as opposed to these creeps in New York and Washington, right, in the national media. Look at that. Looks like Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Those of you that are watching with the green wall behind me, to see and hear all the audio and video that I play, you've got to go to my main live stream, which is linked in the description of the video. It'll take you right there. You can see and hear all the audio and video that I play. Oh my goodness. We're in some crazy places right now. Okay, we got about 90 seconds and we'll be back. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is Without Question, where MAGA comes to talk. And I will be taking some calls when we get back. You know, like if the media were doing their job, what they would do is take this video and go to Mamdani and have him comment on it. Right? Anytime somebody, MAGA, gets a speeding ticket, Trump's got to condemn it. Shouldn't Mamdani have to explain his people here? What do you guys think? Let me know. By the way, guys, I welcome all opinions, but please no spamming in the chat if you don't mind, okay? Trump's got to condemn it. Okay, we got about 30 seconds and we'll be back. Yeah, that's pretty scary. I'm glad I played it off the air. That's why I played it. I wanted to make sure, and sure enough, there was profanity there. If you're new, my name's Brian. We're in a radio station break right now. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. 888-465-2631 is the number. All right, welcome back, one and all. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. I was watching during the break. I cannot play you this audio because on the radio because there's profanities in it. But I've seen one of the most frightening videos that I've seen in a long time inside the United States. The great Nick Sorter, he's that great journalist, been covering Antifa. He's covering Dearborn, Michigan, where there's been a lot of issues with the Muslim call to prayer playing it all the time, very loud. And he's there with someone else. And if you go to my X, you can see this, or my YouTube channel, I'm showing it on YouTube. They get surrounded by, I don't know how many Muslims, and they're really being rough, and they're chanting Allah Akbar over and over again as they're surrounding Nick Sorter and this other guy he's with. It is scary. Dearborn, has it fallen? Looks like it may have. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Doug for 9 out of California.
Mm-hmm. What's up?
I am so utterly disgusted. The Democratic Party are a bunch of terrorists. I cannot believe that these are veterans who are having those words coming out of their mouths. There was so much anger in me. I called you yesterday.
The first woman, the first member of Congress is a former CIA, if there's such a thing as former CIA. I don't know if they're veterans or currently serving. What I mean by that is they're working for some deep state psyop operation, just like Tucker and Nick Fuentes.
I understand that, but she took an oath. She might not be a quote unquote veteran, but you take an oath when you end up joining those agencies.
That's right.
And the fact of the matter is this: the Democrat Party, as of last year, ended up having God forgive me, a brain dead individual representing our country when they should have ended up doing 25th Amendment. They knew what was going on with him, and they let it continue.
Yeah, hold on while I answer all these lines, because my phones are ringing. Well, he was on their team, so they didn't mind.
I understand that, but that's my point. If they're on your team, then it's okay. You have a member of Congress who's a delegate who ends up having text messages with Jeffrey Epstein to help guide her through when she is questioning Trump's lawyer. You end up closing down our country for a pandemic and end up taking millions.
Well, listen, we're getting off topic here. I got a lot on the table, but these members of Congress, all of them, the delegate from the Virgin Islands and those in this sedition video calling on the military to rise up, they should all be arrested.
But yeah, they totally should be arrested.
They should be arrested.
When is the law going to end up being implemented? They should be in jail. They should be arrested and in jail right now.
That's right. That's right. All right. Appreciate the call. Yeah, I agree with you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Fuck.
Okay. First dump of the day. But that's okay. That gives me time to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. And hold on a second. Friendly Tire in Margate. I was talking with Steve yesterday. His wife just got 4 new tires for their Toyota Highlander at Friendly Tire in Margate. She went somewhere else to get tires, and she called me. She told me how much they were. I was like, oh my goodness. She says, do you think I'll get a better deal at Friendly Tire? I said, of course you're going to get a better deal at Friendly Tire. She got 4 new tires, brand new tires, out the door and on the road. She got 4 brand new tires for less than what the other place wanted for 2. A lot less than what they wanted for 2. That's right. And remember, when I say out the door and on the road, Friendly Tire does not charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tires. You can get new tires as low as $75 a tire. New tires as low as $75 a tire, out the door and on the road. And that's on common sizes on some of the most popular vehicles on the road today. He also does tire repairs, which other tire shops do not do. And he has thousands of good used tires in stock as well. Give him a call, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. This video of Nick Sorter in Dearborn with this other guy that he's with, being surrounded by the Muslims in Dearborn that are yelling Allah Akbar. And I'm looking at this video and I just paused it. You know what this video reminds me of? It reminds me of those African-American Republican students that were trying to go to school at Central in Little Rock. And those Democrats, those white Democrats were surrounding them, screaming at them. It's the same thing. And these are Democrats too, these Muslims in Dearborn. It's the same thing. It also reminds me of the Muslim Spring. When that American reporter, what was the name of that American reporter? She's back. She's on the news all the time, from South Africa, that was raped. Remember that when she was reporting? Was it ABC or CBS she was reporting from? Reminds me of that too. I mean, this is an insane situation. All right, the delay is re-engaged. I'm going to go back to the phones. We're approaching the top of the hour, but I'll take a call, maybe 2. Our number is 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, there we go. Second dump of the day. It's going to be one of those days. I told you all yesterday, with President Trump having signed the Epstein file release bill, which is now law. I mean, think about it. President Trump has just made it the law that the Epstein files have to be released. And Pam Bondi will have them all released within 30 days. She talked about this yesterday. Okay. So it's the law now. So all of you out there who were calling for the Epstein files to be released, not only are they going to be released, President Trump made it a federal law to release them. And I told you all yesterday, when this happened, it was going to cause major meltdowns on the left. Not just because everything that's come out is about the Democrats and clears Trump time and time again of any wrongdoing, and indicts Democrats, it's because they don't have this to hold over anymore. And that's all they have. We're going to release the Epstein file. Got to release Epstein. Now they're out. It's the law. And President Trump made it the law. That's a big deal, that it went to his desk and he signed the bill into law. Who would have ever thought? I never thought this would happen. I don't think anyone did, even the people that really wanted them released. Did you ever think releasing the Epstein files would be a federal law? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Justin from West Palm.
Hey, Justin.
So I was Navy for 13 years. This whole thing about alluding to disobeying your commanding officer or whoever. It's funny because they're psyoping their own people. Because I can't imagine someone like myself, if I was still in, would be listening to that type of person, that congressman that's saying that, and the other ones that are saying that. So they're really just they're going to be exposing their own people. Those people are going to get either sent to captain's mast or separated from the military because of these things. So I don't really see it as a lose for us.
Well, it depends on what they do. You know, in the early days in the war on terror, I think this was in Iraq. There was a Muslim soldier who fragged a whole bunch of his own unit with a hand grenade in the tent. And in Vietnam, the hippies protesting the Vietnam War were encouraging soldiers to frag their officers, and some of them did. You know, and so it could get people killed. Hopefully, it gets no one hurt, but it could get people killed. What they're doing,
of course. Right. The UCMJ has a couple articles that they could charge them with if that's the case. Most of the time, if something like this comes out, commanding officers will usually have an all hands meeting with the entire command.
Well, listen, I'm up against the break, so I got to run. But I appreciate your call, and you bring up some good points. Thanks. You contributed more than most of the callers have done today. Not all, but most of them. All right, we're going to take our break for the top. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after our top of the hour break. Don't go anywhere. Yep, Nick Shirley, yeah. All right, we'll be back shortly on the radio. Okay, hold on. 20 seconds. All right, we are back. The 7 o'clock hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to the phone shortly. So, releasing the Epstein files is now the law of the land. That's right. And Hakeem Jeffries is one of the Democrats that's in all kinds of trouble because he's fundraising off of him after he was a convicted pedophile. And Mike Lindell has a couple of reporters for Lindell TV that are good. I mean, they're like Laura Loomer good, Caroline Levitt good. And what they've done is they've set themselves up in a way that they always get called on, whether it's Hakeem Jeffries or Nancy Pelosi, because they stand out. They're all good looking, and they wear business clothes, but they wear short mini skirts. They're all good looking, so they stand out and they get called on. And Hakeem Jeffries called on one of Mike Lindell's reporters yesterday, and I'm going to tell you what he did not say when she asked him this question, but see if you can pick up on it. What does Hakeem Jeffries not say? Listen to this. Well, it's the law now. They're out. Yeah, well, he did. He did. Okay. So on your situation, based on your goals, these are not cookie cutter. Here's the number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. All right, there's one opening on the board. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Mike. I'm calling from New York. How are you?
All right, Mike. What's on your mind?
Not much. Just I watch your show every now and then, and I see some things that I don't agree with.
Okay. We want to share one of them?
Okay. Sometimes you wear a hat that says Trump 2028. What does that mean, sir?
It means I want Trump to run for president again in 2028. That's what the hat says.
So you want him to ruin the whole democracy that our world, that our country is set on, and have a third term?
No, I want to change the law, which would allow him to have a third term.
But that goes against everything America stands for, sir.
No, that was added to the Constitution in the 1950s, sir. Up until 1950s,
really,
there were no
you
term
like
limits.
you guys like to say things were added to. And
It was amended.
taken
It is an
from.
amendment. It
All
is
right,
an
so
amendment.
what about the Second Amendment then? All right, I'm one for having guns, no doubt about it. But you can't have it both ways, sir.
Sure, go ahead and try. No, it's America. Democrats and gun control lunatics are welcome to try to overturn the Second Amendment. Amendments, amendments can be overturned.
All right, you understand that there's a difference between democracy and Democrats, right?
Give me another issue you have problems with. That's one.
I'm just asking you a question. Do you understand the difference between democracy and Democrats?
Yeah, Democrats don't support democracy.
No, because I'm a Democrat, but I still say we are a republic. Are you not educated in these things, sir?
We are a democracy, and we are
you
also.
really are not educated.
Me.
You're just.
Well, let me finish my sentence, and then tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay?
Go ahead,
then it'll sound like you have meaningful disagreement, as opposed to just you don't like.
No,
me.
I just have
we
that.
Are, okay, hold on a second.
A double standard.
Slow down.
You're a double standard person.
Slow down for a second. We are a democracy and a republic. There's different types of democracy. We're a representative.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
We're a representative democracy and a republic. Big deal. So what? You think you know something because you read some Wikipedia?
No. I'm trying to say is that most of people on your channel do not even understand the difference between democracy and a republic.
Oh well, then tell us what it is.
Like
what's the difference? And then educate them.
Tell them. You talk.
No, I'm letting you talk. No, I'm letting you talk. Tell people the difference between democracy and a republic.
All right. Just like people.
No. Tell people no. Listen. Hold on a second.
Not a country.
Tell people the difference. What's the difference between a republic and a democracy?
Tell people the difference. Please ask me the question again, sir.
You said people don't know the difference between democracy and a republic. You're smarter than everybody, so tell us the differences.
Yes, I am smart enough. At least all you MAGA Republicans.
You going to tell us the difference?
Did you? I thought you hung up. No,
I will in a moment.
You usually hang up. You usually hang up on me.
You're killing time and buying time. Come on.
No, I'm not trying to buy time. The difference between a democracy and a republic is we live in a democracy which is based on rules and how we should portray ourselves as a country. Okay, we also live in a republic, which is how we're supposed to portray ourselves.
Neither of those are definitions of either.
Thing.
So you don't know what you're talking about, and I don't think you realized it till you had to define it.
All right.
You didn't give any definitions.
And you're gonna wait. So tell me about how do you feel?
No,
about
I'm not
Trump?
answering any more questions. I'm not answering. I'm late for the break.
Because you're a red.
It's time for a break. We'll be right back. He tells us he's going to tell us the difference between that. He says that you guys watching me don't know the difference between a democracy and a republic. He does. He's smarter than you, but then he can't tell us the difference. Isn't that lovely? All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by. All right, we'll be back shortly, but I'll take a call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's going on, man? Just want to let you know, that guy.
Yeah. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. Good morning. This is Joanne.
Hey, Joanne.
I'm wondering, that idiot that you just spoke to about a democracy and a republic.
Oh, yes. They didn't know the difference himself.
Yeah, he was going to explain to all us idiots what it was. Didn't come up with anything.
Nope.
I may be wrong, but I believe a democracy is majority win.
No, there's different. I'm not going to get sidetracked into some brain dead person's arguments. There's different types of democracy. He doesn't know anything. He thinks he knows a lot. There's different. We're a representative democracy where you.
Right, a republic.
But I got it. We're coming back, but we're not going to waste showtime with that guy and his topics. All right, I appreciate the call, Joan. You kidding me? Open phones is tomorrow, not today. And even then, I wouldn't waste time with that guy. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Man, I tell you, it's never a dull moment, man. Every day there's something coming up, man. You always have your work cut out for you. You know,
no doubt.
Carolyn Levitt finds spies. The Muslim Brotherhood, after 5 years, their 10-year plot is exposed. Man, it never ends. They always come up with something. You know, Carolyn Levitt, those spies, I'm hoping that they got their White House credentials taken away. Let them go interview people from Congress or something. They shouldn't be in the White House anymore. And the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And the Muslim Brotherhood. I was in Turkey, and I think most of the Muslims, like Christians and Jews, they're more in name than practice. Because when I was in Turkey, everybody's a Muslim. Everybody seemed very nice. I can't see how you could be nice if you're a Muslim when you're supposed to hate anybody who's not a Muslim. So, but
well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you're supposed to or not supposed to. I just know that the ones that are high profile in this country are not out for the good of this country. Right. By the way, the guy in Dearborn, I said it's Nick Shirley is who that was. By the way, you know You look at Mamdani, who's going to meet with the president tomorrow. You look at this guy, and that's just the way it is. I mean, these are people that are trying to do to our country what they've done to Europe, and they've made great inroads, right? Dearborn, Michigan looks to be lost. You know, I had a story last week. They're renaming a street in Dearborn after a Palestinian terrorist supporter. And a guy came to the county commission. They have a Muslim mayor. And a guy comes to the city commission and says, I oppose this because this guy, you know, the terrorism and all this stuff. And the mayor of Dearborn said, get out of town, move. I'll be very excited when you don't live here anymore. So Dearborn, that's the future of New York City.
You know, like the old saying, give an inch, they want to take the whole damn arm. You know, this is terrible. You know, we got to stop it. And not be so accepting to all this nonsense, and let them know this is our country, and you want to be part of it, you be part of it. If not, you don't like it, go back to where you belong, where you like someplace better.
Don't you understand? It's not, you're talking like you're talking to immigrants. What you're talking to are, what you're talking about are not immigrants. You're talking about invaders who are taking over parts of the world. And this is a response to the Great Crusades in their mind. And they're taking over, they've taken over Europe, and now they're taking over America. And it's unfortunate. The president's meeting with Mamdani tomorrow at the White House. And I always trust President Trump to handle things properly, but that's bad.
Yeah, I was hoping he wasn't going to do that, because that brings him up another level. As soon as you
I know. Well, it depends on how the president handles it and what happens, but it gives him credibility, is what you mean? Like it validates Mamdani?
Yeah, a little bit more. Oh, the president is talking to him. Must be not so bad. As far as I'm concerned, anybody doing anything nasty shouldn't be even on the media. The media should be blacking everybody out who's doing something.
This started not long after 9/11. The flying imams are the ones who started this. And if you guys don't remember the flying imams, this was insane. I can't remember how long after 9/11. It was a couple years after, but it was close enough that it was still, we were living through it, right? And a group of imams in traditional Muslim clothing went to the airport, and while they were waiting, by the way, thanks for the call, Doug. While they were waiting to board the plane, they were praying in Arabic. And people got nervous waiting to board. So they reported them to the ticket agents, and the ticket agents called security, and the police came. The flying imams sued the people that reported them, and they won. And that was the first move. And it's been downhill ever since. And then one day we woke up, and Ilhan Omar and Dearborn and Mamdani, it's there now. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yep, Brian. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Richie.
You okay, Richie? What's going on?
Well, I'm talking on my wife's phone, because when I called you, I think you mistakenly blocked me by accident with all these crazy people calling.
I'll see. I don't know.
So because I keep getting busy. And
the phones have been busy this morning.
No, she got right through. While I still had the same thing.
Okay.
I'm on her phone.
All right, go ahead.
Dearborn, Michigan. I watched the City Hall meeting. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The problem with Dearborn, Michigan, it's totally out of control. But on top of that, it's bringing out the worst in us, too. Now, I say us. They had a bunch of Nazis that attacked the City Hall.
That's right.
And they were screaming, and it was disgusting. I mean Nazis. I mean, white supremacists. I mean, they're so deranged. And between the crazy Muslims and the white supremacists, it's a circus. I would move out of that place. I would have my bags packed. I'd be on the first plane out.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, it's really bad.
No doubt.
And it's crazy. As for these crazy people calling you up all day long, let me tell you something. There's going to be a lot of Democrats in trouble with this thing. And Trump was trying to spare the embarrassment. You already got the guy, Larry Summers already resigned. And we can go on and on and on. And Mamdani go to the White House tomorrow. I hope.
Well, I got to tell you, the way I'd like to see it happen, what I would like to see with Mamdani at the White House is a replay of Zelensky's first visit with the president and vice president.
Is that going to be hard for us?
Go ahead.
Are we going to be able to see this?
We don't know anything about it. We don't know we don't know how it's going to play. Is he going to come through the dignitaries' entrance where the president comes out and greets them? Is he going to come? A lot of times they come through the old executive office building and there's another entrance. Are we going to have a press conference in the Oval like we did with the Crown Prince? I don't know. But what Doug said. What Doug said is that it elevates him.
Yeah, like to come to the White House makes him look good.
It depends. Zelensky. Did Zelensky look good the first time he came to the White House? Remember when Brian Glenn went after him over the clothes and everything?
Yeah, after it was over, it was unbelievable. But then the press turned on President Trump again. You remember what the press said? Oh, he's a bully. He bullied the bully. This press is disgusting. What happened yesterday with the Crown Prince? On that reporter for ABC, man. I mean, her attitude, her language, the way she came and attacked like a attack dog. I hope they pull the license for ABC. I swear, I can't believe what's going on here. She's insulting a guest. She knows how important this is to our country and to President Trump. She's worried about this one guy.
Well, look, the media, I'm going to get into this Caroline Levitt thing that I opened with after the break. But the media, like these Congress people that put this video out, they're trying to cause disruption, revolution, and conflict. And the thing with the Crown Prince and the ABC reporter, the congressman's video about the military, this is all a deep state op that they do normally in other countries.
You know, the military deal is that's behind that was Slotkin, who was CIA.
Yes,
and
correct.
She's lost a lot of weight. She's lost a lot of weight, and I'm going to say something to you. And write this in your book. She's going to be one of the candidates running for either president or vice president. That's where our mind.
I'm of the opinion that there should be a law against any CIA person ever holding public office. I think it's crazy, and I got to tell you, one of the reasons you guys have heard me many times criticize the Clay and Buck show, okay, and it's not just because I think they suck. Okay, to put them on in the place of Rush is a disgrace, and I'm not. It's not sour grapes. I didn't think I was going to get the job. I'm not crazy. But there were other people out there that were qualified that could have done the job. Buck Sexton's a CIA guy. And I never liked the idea that, forgetting about the lack of talent there, okay, with those two. And Clay Aiken there, he's good when he's talking about sports and stuff, but not politics. But I just think it's inappropriate to have a CIA guy who's takes over for Rush Limbaugh. I don't think CIA people should be in the Congress. It should be illegal.
No, she's also very power hungry. Her attitude, you just could see reading her body language.
You can see the snarkiness and the arrogance in her face.
She is always like that.
She's in love with herself.
And she also thinks that she's draped in the American flag because she was CIA.
I mean, they think, okay, this is what they think. Okay, they have two things on their mind. One, they've answered President Kennedy's call to public service, and they're public servants. So, and they believe that public servants are a higher form of person than those of us that aren't. And they all, and by the way, the military is not included in that unless you're in the senior officer ranks. Okay, they believe, and the other thing they believe is that they are the only true citizens. The rest of us, it's their country, and we're just living in it. Taylor Swift, remember she had, it's Taylor Swift's world, we're just living. That's how they think. And notice she put herself in that video first.
I know. She's all behind this. I'm telling you, she's the next candidate.
It's not her, it's the deep stater behind it, of which she's part of.
They're going to put her up. Could you check my phone when you...
I will. But, all right, we'll take care. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break. But first, do you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy? Then call Lighthouse Medical. Lighthouse Medical can help you with your neuropathy no matter where you are in the United States. And some people have neuropathy so bad they can't function. And it's very common for family members to set up the appointment with Lighthouse Medical for them. So if you have a spouse, a brother, a sister, a mom, a dad, a grandma, or grandpa suffering from neuropathy, you can set up the appointment for them. It's a no-charge consultation if you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. It works. Steve had the treatment 3.5 years ago, rid him of his neuropathy, and it hasn't returned. It's amazing. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. If you're on hold, stand by. We got a lot to cover, and we've only really just begun, and we're already halfway through the show. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back right after this. All right, we'll be back in 1 minute. If you're on hold, stand by. I got to queue a couple things up. That's one. And that's two. Okay, I'll do this one first. All right, 30 seconds, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay, next. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is James. I'm from Tennessee. I'm just wondering.
No, you can keep on wondering. All right, the rest of you on hold, stand by. I played this clip yesterday, and I'm going to play it again, and I'll probably play it tomorrow. Because Mom Donnie's coming to the White House. And, you know, when I played this yesterday, I played it, and I watched it before I played it on the air. And then when I watched it the second time on the air, it just sent chills down my spine. Because I have never seen or heard anything like this in my life. This is Mayor Adams. This was 2 nights ago. He was speaking to a Jewish group in New York. Wow. Wow. Okay, so you've got the Democrat, African-American outgoing mayor, he's mayor till January, of New York City, telling Jews to leave New York City and take their families with them. It's not safe. Never heard anything like that. Have you ever heard any mayor of any city or any leader that held elected office in the United States warn people because of their ethnicity, their skin color, their religion, some other characteristic, that it's not safe for them because of it in the city and that they should leave? It's an evacuation announcement, is what he just said. That is so historic in nature. And I got to tell you, I'm playing it again for 2 reasons. One, because Mom Donnie's coming to the White House tomorrow. And 2, the only thing that's changed in New York is that Mamdani is now the mayor of elect. So what is Mayor Adams talking about? The only thing that I can take, and he's really concerned here. I mean, he's really upset. The only thing I can take from Mayor Adams here is this, that Mamdani's transition team and his staff have been meeting, doing the transition, and either he has seen something or things have been reported to him that had him send out this emergency warning. And when you're a Jew and you're told to get out because it's not safe for you and your family and evacuate, you need to take that advice. You need to do it. And don't let pride get in the way and say, hey, I was born and raised in New York, I'm not leaving. It's not safe, according to the mayor. And he's a Democrat mayor. So for him to say that is unheard of. I mean, the only time I've seen anything about evacuating, this is what I told Steve yesterday. The only time I've seen anything about evacuating from an elected official, a city, an area, a town, is when there's a hurricane coming. That's the only time. A natural disaster. Never because of unless there's something else that's changed that I'm not aware of in New York City. The other reason I shared this, I didn't see this in any of the news yesterday. Did you? Other than me sharing it, did you see this anywhere? If you did, let me know. I want to be fair, because who reported it? I didn't see anyone report this. And believe me, the mainstream national media are very well aware of this. They're all based in New York. Not only did I not see this in the media, I didn't see anyone go to Mayor Adams for comment. I'm wondering, and President Trump knows about this, I promise you that. I wonder if this warning from Mayor Adams has anything to do with the meeting getting announced yesterday. Now, for those that think this is an opinion, there are opinions and then there are educated opinions and analysis. And Mayor Adams' analysis and opinion of the situation for Jews in New York, which is get out with your entire family, it's not safe. That is expert opinion and analysis from the mayor and a former police officer from the city of New York. So it's just not someone who calls me up on the phone that doesn't like Muslims and says, oh, Muslims preaches this, preaches that. No, this is not that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Bob from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, listen, this Adams speech about the Jews vacating, leaving, I mean, this is like history repeating itself over and over again. What's wrong with I understand there are Jews in New York who voted for him, who backed him. And
Mamdani.
People like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah. And you have people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Chuck Schumer who always vote against themselves and against the Jewish people, and they're Jewish, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand what the mentality is. They should have band together. There's so many Jews in New York that should have tried to stop this from happening.
I got to tell you, this history repeating itself is something I've always said is untrue. And when I was in college studying history, all my professors always says it doesn't repeat itself. It doesn't repeat itself. I always thought that until this. This is Germany 1933 kind of talk.
Exactly. And I always thought history repeats itself. Could you see the threads coming back again and again, like humanity doesn't learn from the past, and they continue with the hatred and the bigotry and all this and that.
Where have you seen this reported? Because I want to be fair. I had this yesterday. Did you see this reported by anyone?
No, I didn't.
Oh, what the heck?
No, I don't. Listen, I don't know. All I can say is that it's got to be true. It's not quashed. I mean,
No, it's a video of him. I've got the video of Mayor Adams from the.
So, I mean, what is it with the Jewish people always escaping the hatred and the
well, what we're really talking about, listen, I can't speak for the Jews in Germany from that era. A lot did try to leave, and they had nowhere to go. That's why we have Israel today. Nobody would take them, right, including Roosevelt. But I do know a little bit about the Jews we're talking about now. They're liberal Democrats, and liberal Democrats in general are stupid.
Yeah, like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Chuck Schumer, a lot of these Jews that are leaders, they vote against themselves. I don't get their mentality. How, and the Jews that voted for Mondami, I mean, you want to say you get what you deserve, but I mean, come on now. I don't know.
Liberals. I mean, look, a lot of gays voted for Mamdani, and where he's from, being gay is a death sentence under law.
Exactly.
So, and he still has a house there. Okay. So, never underestimate the stupidity of the left. I appreciate the call. All right. Take care. If you're on hold, stand by. This is very alarming. Without question. Now, it's still November, and that is Men's Health Awareness Month. And Life Imaging FLA, during this Men's Health Awareness Month, they're here to help. They offer free heart scans with just a few minimum requirements, valued at $699. They have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade. And when you're in there, make sure you ask them about their full body cancer screening. I've had both of these scans. They take just a couple of minutes. You don't have to take off all your clothes and put on a hospital gown. I thought of that, right? I thought, oh man, I'm going to have to take off my clothes and put on a gown. No, I had a button-up shirt and jeans. I had my clothes on. I did not even have to take off my watch. The scan they use is completely open. It's like a ring, so you're not inside anything. So if you're claustrophobic, which I get with those things, don't worry about that. But get that full cancer screening, so you also with the heart scan, so you get that ultimate peace of mind. What Life Imaging FLA is all about is proactive health. And I've been telling you about people that have gone to Life Imaging FLA who had no symptoms of any cancer or heart problems, but somebody in their family did. So they went and they found out they have over 80% blockage, or they found out they had cancer that they would not have known about, and they catch it early enough so they can get it taken care of. They're saving lives every day at Life Imaging FLA. Early detection and screening, that's where it's at, and I had both of these scans. I have no plaque, no blockage, and no cancer. And that peace of mind that I have has been life-changing for me. It has. It's taken years off my life, tell you the truth. But if they find something, you can take care of it and save your life. Give them a call. Pick up your cell phone and call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan. Pound 250, say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're still in break on the radio, and we're going to be back. I got to check the time here. We're going to be back in a little over a minute, about 90 seconds. All right, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go to the phones after the break, all right? We'll be back in about 30 seconds. All right, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Ken from Hollywood.
Hey, Ken.
So you were talking about how history repeats itself. I know you're a history major. I just got back from Poland and went to Auschwitz, and I have to tell you, I'm not Jewish, but everyone in this country should go there, because when you come out of there, it is the most moving thing, and you realize how easy this could happen, where another entity or force takes over, because the Polish people didn't realize it. They let Germany walk in. They thought it was a good thing, and before they knew it, it was too late. But it's scary to see really what's happening.
Yeah, I know. And, you look, listen, I know people will say, well, the president was all friendly with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Well, he rules Saudi Arabia, okay? Saudi Arabia is not New York. It's not the United States. This warning from about Mamdani, from Mayor Adams, I have really searched my brain. I do not know of another instance outside of a natural disaster where an elected official told people it wasn't safe for them because of some characteristic about them in a town and to get out. Have you ever heard anything like that?
No, and the more important point is what you mentioned earlier, that it's nowhere on the news. Why are we not hearing about this?
Because they're covering it up. Listen,
Exactly.
If I know about it, they know about it, and they're based in New York. They all know about this. And you can, and if you watch on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, when I show the video, Mayor Adams is serious as a heart attack, man. I mean, he is really concerned.
Yeah, and I got to say one more thing. They really, whoever you want to classify the opposition as that does want to take over this country and do what they're doing, they're very smart. They realize they're not going to come invade the beaches with submarines and warships, and they're doing it very, very methodically. They started in the 1960s. They infiltrated the school system. Now those people are in power that were, in the hippie generation.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you're right. I have I've studied a lot of history and the wars and the reason I find history interesting is history is a series of actions and reactions, and as you study it chronologically, something happens and this happens and it caused this and then that happened. And, all these past wars, like the Germans invading Europe and Russia, when the war in Vietnam was going on, one of the problems in the early days of the war in Vietnam was that the generals were World War II veterans, and they were fighting it like it was World War II, not a guerrilla war, right? In Iraq and Operation Iraqi Freedom, they were fighting it like it was the Gulf War because the generals were from the Gulf War, not with the, and then the IEDs, took a big hit. The new form of warfare isn't blowing up buildings, hijacking planes or tanks. It's just immigration, moving, and getting somebody elected to the town council, and that's how it starts. It's the new form of it's the new invasion, and I don't know how many people see it or understand it, but that's what's happened to Dearborn. It's what's happened in Minnesota, and it's what is happening now in New York City.
And it's frustrating, Brian, because we see it, and people who don't, like my neighbors and friends who don't talk.
Well,
to me
they'll call
anymore.
you a bigot. They'll call you an Islamophobe.
Yeah. You want to just shake them because they think the Democrats are the nice people opening the border, letting these people in. The Democrats could give two craps. You think that Nancy Pelosi cares about people coming
Did you
from
say you're
South
calling
America?
from Hollywood?
I am.
Florida, right? Broward County?
Yes.
Okay. Like 15 or so years ago, this was crazy. The DNC, the Democrat Party of Broward County, which, listen, in Broward County, we have more Jews in South Florida than in Israel. We have a large Jewish population, and Jews, at least at that time, were mostly Democrat. Now there's been a lot of change since then, right? But because of Trump, but before that. And the Democrat Party of Broward County, heavily Jewish, with Jews leading the party, they did this big event with Muslims in Broward County. And there was a quote from one of the leaders of the Broward Democrat Party and the Sun Sentinel at the time, and they were celebrating this great new demographic they have to bring into the Democrat Party. They're stupid. Democrats are stupid.
They are
dumb.
stupid.
They are self-destructive and stupid, and I don't say that lightly. People can be very smart and have no education and not know certain things. The Democrats do not have the ability to learn from mistakes, and these are, by the way, are the same people that'll tell you never forget as they vote for Mamdani.
Exactly. My neighborhood is mostly Jewish, and they're all Democrats, and they don't realize that they're bringing these people in to get voters. They don't care about all that stuff they profess. If you don't feel you have 50% of the vote in the country who are Republicans, how do you get new voters? You have to bring in more, give them free things, and they'll vote for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about.
And this story with Adams, he was speaking to a Jewish group 2 nights ago in New York City. Believe me, all of the mainstream media know about this. All of the conservative voices know about this. And yesterday I said I shouldn't be the one breaking this story. It's so big, it should have been broken before I went on the air yesterday. But here we are 24 hours later, and to the best of my knowledge, no one has reported this story. This is journalistic malpractice not reporting this. It's criminal not to report this.
It is.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, I can't wait to get through this Epstein thing so the Democrats can get on to the next Trump plot, because, this is going to fall apart like everything else, like the Russia hoax, and then within a month they'll have another thing. So I'll leave with a neighbor who is a Republican told me, Democrats, if Trump saved a baby from drowning in the ocean, they would accuse Trump of starving the sharks. They're really sick.
There was a meme. There was a meme in his first term, and it was Anderson Cooper reporting, Donald Trump cures cancer. Then the next headline, Donald Trump puts doctors out of work. Right? Same thing.
Exactly. All right, Brian, great talking to you. Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, I guess they chickened out. I get it. Oh, Thanksgiving's coming up. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Set up your no-charge consultation. Okay, we're close to Thanksgiving now. We're a week away from Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to it. You know what my favorite part of Thanksgiving is? Pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. Oh my goodness, I love pumpkin pie. Too bad Publix doesn't have the pumpkin pies they used to have, but Cracker Barrel's, I'm so glad Cracker Barrel what they were doing. I'm going to get pumpkin pie from Cracker Barrel this year. But anyway, after Thanksgiving, get your appointment set up. Go over to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Lose that weight before your holiday parties. Lose that weight before your Christmas party. It works. I've lost over 35 pounds, and it was without effort. I've been in the maintain phase for a month, for months and months. I haven't gained back a single ounce in the months I've been on the maintaining phase because there's no big lifestyle changes with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Here's the number, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. They can help you no matter where you're located in the United States. Online, coastalweightlossSecret.com. All right? Okay, we got 1 hour to go. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show. Our number, 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after our top-of-the-hour break. All right, we're still in break on the radio. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. If you're watching on the stream with the green wall, you got to go to my main live stream to see all the audio and video clips and images that I show. A link to my main stream is in the description, all right? Awesome. Got about 45 seconds and we'll be back. Make sure you check out my podcast from last night, by the way, on Charlotte. Holy smokes. About 20 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. To the phones we will go. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. You are welcome to call in about anything I've brought up so far, which is quite a bit. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Dean from Mega Martin County.
Hey, what's up, Dean?
Hey, I've been listening to your callers like Bob from Pompano. He's absolutely right. I mean, these Jews will vote for an anti-Semitic guy because the legacy media portrays these candidates as, they love everybody, they'll give everybody free things, and we can thank the legacy media for actually getting all these guys voted in, because nobody, like the people like me and you and conservatives, we listen to facts. We don't listen to all this brainwashing, and every time there's something negative about a candidate, they hush it up. I mean, all the stuff that Mondani was lying about while my aunt was riding on the subways, and she had to stop. That's all lies.
Yeah.
But the legacy media doesn't promote that. So all the gay, trans, Jews still vote Democrat because they have a D in front of their name.
That's right.
Because legacy media they won't post it. They won't report the truth.
Well, this thing with Mayor Adams, no one has even gone to him and say, hey, this is a big shift.
Exactly.
What happened?
I mean, where's the big three networks saying, oh my gosh, what do we have here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to continue to have these issues because, the art of war is what they're playing out on the United States.
You're in Martin County. We're Florida guys. When a hurricane is coming, and you're a Florida person, you're okay as long as you leave the when they come out and say, hey, this is an evacuation zone. The people that die during hurricanes are the people that don't evacuate the evacuation zones. You just got an evacuation zone order from the city mayor of New York City. It's an evacuation for all Jews to leave the city. It's not safe, according to Mayor Adams. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, look at, we've had this, it seems like we're regurgitating the same facts, but, they just don't learn. I mean, let's import Somalis into Minnesota and Michigan. Those people hate America.
That's right.
Yeah. They hate everything it stands for, but yet they get Democrats and they line up to vote for them because they're that ignorant.
That's correct.
So I don't know where this is going to end. Because look at all these Democrats came out yesterday. The ex-military people saying all this seditious stuff.
Yeah.
Don't follow orders from Trump. Well, guess what? This is time to put the hammer down on those guys and make an example out of them. You can't go against the commander-in-chief.
Well, what I'm wondering of the people that the members of Congress that are in that video, okay? This is what I'm wondering, okay? And one of them, the first one, the woman, she's CIA, so she may be a little different. The ones that are retired military officers, are they in the reserve still, or the National Guard? Are they and some and if so, they still would have to go by the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Also, many officers are always, I don't know what the status or the terms are, but I remember this came up a lot during when after 9/11, people were getting recalled that had been out of the service for a decade because there were shortages in certain specialties. There's certain officers at certain ranks that even though they've been separated from the military, they're still subject for recall. How does the Uniform Code of Military Justice apply to them? Is what I'd like to know.
Well, I'm a vet, and when you sign up as it's a lifelong commitment. Like you said, it's way after the term, way after you're out of the Guard. You still have the obligation to follow what you signed up for. Okay.
This is treason and sedition and just insanity.
Well, I agree. Is there anything they can do? Can the House come up and legislate or somebody?
Members of Congress have immunity from lawsuits and slander and stuff while they're speaking on the floor. While they're speaking on the floor, this was not on the floor. And for the first person in it to be the CIA girl, I mean, come on. I mean, they're advertising that this is a deep state op.
I mean, if Republicans did this, oh my gosh, they would be hammering them. Somehow they would be trying to kick him out of Congress, and
they'd be right to do it.
Let's see how strong. Let's see the backbone of the Republicans now. Let's see what we can do.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, this is nuts. You're on the air. What's your name? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm from Florida.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, man. I mean, can I ask you a question? This guy's talking about facts, and us Republicans only go after facts. Now, I'm not knocking Republicans. I'm knocking a gentleman who is a Republican who states that, and you're on the news stating that Eric Adams suggested to leave New York City as an evacuate. I didn't hear that.
Well,
okay.
Then clean out your ears. Trim the hair. Clean the hair growing in your ears. It's blocking your hearing.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to play it again in a minute after I'm done talking.
It hasn't happened. Nothing bad has happened. The guy isn't even in office, but yet this other gentleman's talking about facts and nothing.
You don't evacuate. Listen. You don't evacuate during the hurricane. You have to stay in place. If the hurricane hit, you evacuate before the storm hits.
Oh, you jokers are pieces of work, man.
This is Mayor Adams. No, this isn't me. This is Mayor Adams, a black Democrat and former police officer for New York City. He's the sitting mayor. It's not me. It's Adams.
Adams is shaky at best. That's why he wasn't reelected or anything, because he is not a individual who is sound mind, okay? And this other gentleman, the Jews.
Oh, wait. You're a doctor? You're a doctor? You're a psychiatrist?
You sound like the Germans.
Wait a minute. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a journalist.
They're Americans.
You said,
okay.
You just diagnosed Mayor Adams. Are you a doctor?
Report the truth. You would have to report the truth if you were a journalist.
I'm an opinion maker. I give commentary. I'm a
commentator.
commentator.
And you know what they say about opinions. You know what they say about opinions, right, Brian? It's the wilderness.
They say they're just like you, right? I know. Let me play this again. This is Mayor Adams. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's frightening. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our break. When we come back, I'll take more calls. There's a lot more to cover. And I am going to recap the spy ring that was busted, and I'm not kidding, by Caroline Leavitt at the White House. Our number is toll-free 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're located. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We'll be right back. Okay, we'll be back in just a couple minutes, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay. Hey, George, it's Brian. How you doing? Good, good, good. We're going to be back in about 90 seconds, so I'll go to you then. I got the text on what you wanted to cover. Okay, can you turn... I hear some noise in the background. Okay, we can do that. I was going to come by tomorrow to record a new commercial with you. Are you still open to that? Oh, I'll text you when we're done, when I get off the air. Okay, hold on. I'm going to put you on hold. I got about a minute. Okay. Oh. Okay, we got 1 minute, then I got George Colony, and then I'm going to go back to our phones. Stand by. Oh, man. Mm. 30 seconds, we'll be back. If you're on hold, hang in there. All right, and we are back. I'm Brian. It's time to check in with George Colony. George, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Brian?
Oh, I'm doing great. How you been?
Well, a little cold, but I'm doing fine.
Yeah, it's still better than that northern weather that we have in Florida. You know, you know, one of the things when we first met, you know, you do more, you're not just a real estate agent, you do a lot of other things too. And one of the things you do, which is really, it's different than a lot of people that are in real estate. You're actually involved in the buying and selling of businesses. Can you tell people a little bit about that and how you help with that?
Well, I think it's not only buying and selling businesses, I think it's starting up your own business. And, you know, I've done this for 6 decades, and I've learned a lot doing it, and I always felt that I could help people that wanted to start a business or wanted to buy another company, merge companies together. So I felt I had the information to help them, and I make myself available to people that want to do that. I've thought about doing seminars about it, but I'm not a big seminar person. But, you know, in order to reach the number of people that would be interested in this, you might have to do it that way.
Yeah. You know, and another thing you talked to me about, which is a lot different than I hear from a lot of people, you talk a lot about buying seller finance properties. What's that all about? And why is that a good thing? And what's that all about?
Well, there's a number of reasons why that's important, and I think it comes back to the background of starting businesses. You know, when you start a business, you start to build wealth. You can't spend wealth, so you have to make wealth, earn money so you can grow your business. So what I've learned over the last couple of years, especially with the high interest rates, the difficulty of dealing with many of these banks because of their requirements. For instance, if I get a loan on a business, the bank requires me to carry certain insurances that are very expensive. But do I really need those insurances? They're only there because the bank's requiring me to carry them, and they're really just an expense to my bottom line. So I think when you're talking about seller financing, You're obviously not having to deal with the bank, so you're saving a lot of money on the bank fees that are there. You're getting a much better interest rate. You're getting terms that are a lot easier for you to make a property cash flow. So if I was to buy a company that, let's say it made currently $200,000, if I was to go to a bank, I would have to be paying maybe a 6, 7, 8% interest rate, where the seller sees that it might be wise for that person to hold a mortgage for you himself. He might be able to do it at 3 or 4% because he's saving having to pay capital gains right now on his profit. There's a lot of reasons why the seller would want to be the bank for you for a period of time. And it depends what their estate planning shows them they should be doing.
By the way, does the seller financing, does that also work if you're looking to buy a home or a condo, maybe to live in or for an investment property?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I found over being in the real estate, I didn't want to be a real estate agent, but I am one, so that's the licensed part of it. But one of the things that I found was that there's things that you can do that are more business-oriented than what the normal person would talk to about real estate. For instance, I have a guy that's in a condo right now. It's a condo that's 15 years old. He and his wife want to be able to be in a place where they have more room, where they can walk around, where they have more scenery. They're giving up their view from the condo. And then I've got a guy in a townhouse, so he wants to be in a condo. So I simply do a trade. By doing a trade, it's basically I buy yours, you buy mine. Therefore, we save a lot of the costs involved in closing and control of what the price is going to be. We save taxes, we save insurances, we save all over the place. So whether it's a trade or whether it's me simply saying to you, I have a home now. It's in Fort Lauderdale. I paid $750,000 for it, and I am now selling it. I put over $100,000 in it, but I'm selling it for $740,000, and I'm going to finance it for somebody with $50,000 down, and I'm going to hold the mortgage for them. That is a sensational way for a young person or anyone really to get into home ownership instead of paying these rental payments every month that are not tax deductible to them.
Yeah.
So my home is a 3-bedroom. It's got a pool. It's a really sensational thing, and I did it because I want to be the example for other people like me that have a second or third home. They really don't want to be a landlord, but they'd like to turn it into income because they don't want to have to sell the wealth, because once they sell the wealth of it, then the money disappears.
That's right.
So they want their wealth to bring in the income. And these things are so simple, but truthfully, I haven't found anybody since I've been in this business, in the real estate business, that talks like this or thinks like this. And it all stems from, when you build businesses, you face a lot of things. You're normally afraid that you're going to fail. So you sometimes have to do things to, you have to work harder, you have to work smarter and all that stuff. But there's things that I've learned that I really love helping people. And all they got to do is pick up the phone and call me. We'll spend 15 minutes together. My time, 15 minutes of their time. And by doing so, it could change their life. I really believe that. It's not egotistical. It's just this has been my 83 years of life.
So if somebody calls you up, and I'm going to give out your cell phone number in just a moment. You can call or text George, but I would recommend calling, but you can do either. If somebody calls you up and says, hey, I'm looking to sell my house. You're talking about this trade thing. You're talking about this seller financing. Can you help me with that? And by the way, I got to have a new place to live in, so I need you to help with that too. So you can help on both ends of the transaction.
I can help you look at the options that are available to you that in 90% of the time you've never thought of.
Yeah.
I have very wealthy people come into my office, and when they leave, they say, George, I never even thought of that. And these are smart, large companies. And they say that to me. I don't have all the answers, but I got some. Everything I know isn't going to help everybody. But some of what I have will help someone. And if they make themselves available so we can talk about it, I think I can help them.
Well, when it comes to a business, certainly, but even a real estate transaction with your home, condo, townhome, like you were talking about, these are some of the biggest financial transactions people make in their entire lives, which have multi-generational impact. And the ways that you're talking about going about it seem that It's the smartest way and the most profit, too. Give George Colony a call or text. This number rings directly to his cell phone, 954-801-7320. 954-801-7320. All right, George, we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Brian, for the opportunity to talk to your people.
Absolutely. Take care. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. I tell you, he's a top real estate guy. That's why he's here. He was recommended to us by Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing. Okay, now after the bottom of the hour, I'm going to get to this story about Carolyn Levitt that blew my mind. And, you know, there's all these stories. There's so many big, huge stories. And the media don't want to cover them. And I'll tell you another thing that's very different about how things go now as opposed to in the past during the era of Trump. November, we're a week away from Thanksgiving. This is historically November and December, the news, there's no news, nothing happens. And every single day, there's 3 or 4 things happening. And then every afternoon, the news cycle starts every 12 hours. 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. every day, there's a new news cycle. Even during holiday periods, a week out from Thanksgiving, to have news stories like this is unheard of. And all these big stories I'm talking about today are huge, and I'm covering them. But then tomorrow, the president's meeting at the White House with Mamdani. So things are going to go to a whole nother level then. So we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm going to make a recommendation to you guys. This is an amazing thing to do. Steve, he's not with us today, but he sent me a text message. We're a week away from Thanksgiving. Wings Plus is so great for Thanksgiving. You know, the 50-wing platter is amazing. You get the 50-wing platter, and by the way, you don't have to get 50 of the same wings. You can get 25 of one, 25 of another. You can do all kinds of things. But you get that 50-wing platter, you're going to have the most memorable Thanksgiving dinner you have ever had in your life. You know, one thing about Wings Plus, I've been eating at Wings Plus for about 20 years. And I'll tell you how we found them. They've been with us here on the Steve Kane Show for over 15 years. I remember that because we did a all-night live show, a 10-hour broadcast starting at midnight during the 2010 Tea Party elections. And it was catered by Wings Plus, and they were with us before then, and that was in 2010. But I've been eating at Wings Plus for many, many years, and I was telling Steve, they were right down the street from our studio in Coral Springs, and I would often tell Steve, hey, Steve, go over to Wings. You got to go to Wings Plus, the best wings. But we got off the air at 9, and then Steve would go his own way. And then one day he had a meeting he had to come back for. He stopped in at Wings Plus for lunch when they first opened. He came in the next day with a menu. They're good. And everything at Wings Plus, by the way, is in Coral Springs, about a mile west of Sample Road, on the south side of Sample Road. You know, everything at Wings Plus is homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. Nothing. That includes all the sauces on the wings. Homemade right there at Wings Plus on Sample Road in Coral Springs. That means the clam chowder, everything homemade right there. Nothing ever comes out of a can. And my mouth is watering right now just thinking about it. Everything is wonderful. So stop by Wings Plus, great for Thanksgiving dinner. And when you get the 50-wing platter, ask them over there the reheating instructions. They'll tell you. And I've done this many times. You heat them up in your oven with the directions that they give you, and they're perfect just like they came out of the kitchen to your table at Wings Plus. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, about 1 mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. Callers on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. All right. We got about a minute and we'll be back. A little less than a minute. Oh, the show has flown by. Next week, I haven't decided if I'm going to be here live on Thanksgiving or not, or the day after. If I were here on, give me a yes or no in the chat. If I were here live on Thanksgiving, would you guys be watching? Let me know in the chat. Yes or no? Would you be watching and calling on Thanksgiving? Let me know. All right, stand by. All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. So what President Trump did yesterday is something I don't think anyone ever imagined. In all these years we've been hearing about Jeffrey Epstein, the releasing of the Epstein files is now the law of the land. They sent the Epstein files release bill to the president, and he signed it into law yesterday. I want you to think about that. And that is just an amazing thing. I mean, who would have thought? And has there ever been such a law, right? A law over something like that? I'm not really aware of that. I don't think that's ever happened before, where there was one set of files on one particular deviant, lowlife scumbag that became federal law to release. I've never seen anything like that. Now, there's been, like the president signed executive orders to release the JFK files, MLK files. There's been declassifications and executive orders, but I don't think there's ever been a law passed like this before, right? No. Jasmine Crockett is... she's losing it even with liberals. Did you see her? She was on with Caitlin Collins on CNN yesterday being humiliated. Listen. Mm. Oh my goodness. I never said it was that Jeffrey Epstein. Which one was she talking about? You know, she's stupid, her staff are stupid. They did some Googling on some finance things. Epstein's a very common name. Maybe not in her circles, but in America it is. Oh. Oh. Oh, she made this mistake on purpose, Jasmine Crockett. She was setting up the Republicans. She made this idiotic comment on purpose. Oh my goodness. You know, how bad do you have to be a Democrat, female and black, to be humiliated by CNN? I mean, you got to be in a really bad place. Someone like her, you know, a black female Democrat, has complete immunity from any exposure, typically by liberal CNN, but not this time. That's how bad it is. Oh, they Googled. Oh, my goodness. Oh, she wants to investigate everyone named Jeffrey Epstein on the planet? Is everyone with that name, Jeffrey Epstein, a pedo now? She's got to investigate them? I have never seen someone do backflips like this one before. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. Even Caitlin Collins is laughing at her live on the air. This is a bold statement, okay? But is she the dumbest person ever to sit in the House of Representatives? I mean, that's dumber than AOC. It really is. I know it's close. And now, there was that incident with AOC and the garbage disposal that she didn't know how to use. But that wasn't during, like, official congressional business. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Scotty B from Florida. Listen, I just wanted to say, see what happened to the Democrat congresswoman, and I think it was the name of McCormick.
You talking about the woman in Florida that was stealing the FEMA funds?
Yeah, $5 million.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, she's been indicted.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what's wrong. She took over for when Hastings.
She's Alcee Hastings' old district. That's correct.
Yeah, it's crazy what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
she replaced Alcee Hastings, who she replaced in Congress. I knew him a little bit.
Right.
Before he was in Congress, he used to fill in for Steve when Steve would be on vacation sometimes. And this is I used to be Steve's board op before I was on the air, you know. And so I got to know Alcee. He used to be a federal judge. You know the story with him, right?
Oh, yeah.
He was, for those that don't, Alcee Hastings, he was a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. He's passed away. He was the congresswoman before this woman that was indicted for stealing the $5 million in FEMA funds with her husband or something. He was impeached and removed from the federal bench. He was appointed by President Carter as a federal judge under the suspicion that he took bribes. And he ended up serving in Congress along some of the people that impeached him. So that, and some of them were in the Black Caucus with him, which means, if they impeached him, that means they thought he took the money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy what's going on.
Well, Democrats are crooks.
Yeah, she faces 65 years.
Yeah, well, this is another one. Yes, for a black female Democrat to face prison time for political financial corruption like that, what it really shows you, that story, there's a positive thing to that story. The civil rights movement has accomplished everything where people they're not treated differently because of the color of their skin, but the content of their character. A few years ago, she'd get away with that because she's a black woman and a Democrat, right? Now she's facing prison time. So Martin Luther King's dream of a colorblind society is here.
Oh, yes.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from North Carolina.
Yep, what's up?
Hey, yeah, you made a comment just now, about Democrats and black. Is that a thing? You said the black lady normally she would have gotten away with it?
I didn't understand your question. It was very inarticulate.
So you were saying that the black politician lady that normally she would have gotten away with it, a few years ago.
Well, yeah, she replaced a Congress. Yeah, she replaced a congressman, Al C. Hastings, who died. He was a black Democrat. He held that seat before her. He was removed. He was a federal judge removed from the bench by the Congress. He was impeached and removed from the bench because they thought he took bribes. Okay, and he got elected. Then he ran for Congress. After all that, got elected and reelected his whole life when everybody in town knew. So when Democrats in general get immunity, but black Democrats, they in the past would get like quadruple immunity, like Al C. Hastings, who continued to get elected over and over again. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But Republicans, they get crucified, you believe, whenever they're being judged or looked at.
What Republican has taken bribes or stolen $5 million and been elected and reelected to Congress?
Trump.
No, he didn't take bribes. Trump. Ted Kennedy, Democrats get away with it. Ted Kennedy killed a woman, right? And he got elected to the Senate until he was dead. He'd still be in the Senate if he was still alive. Democrats get away with everything. Trump never took a bribe. He never killed anybody.
Vice President Dick Cheney, didn't Dick Cheney then shoot someone in the face?
That was a hunting accident. That was a hunting accident.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. The point is,
he was out hunting with his friend, and it was an accident.
I want to say something very mutual. Not Democrat, not Republican, very mutual. When it comes to money and power, parties do not argue and separate when it comes to that.
Okay, listen, I got to run. I'm late for the break. I don't have time for his soapbox speech there, but this is a common theme with so many of the messages I'm giving you, Christmas gifts. Sloman's Home Security. This offer is a great Christmas gift. Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. All you have to do is call 833-283-5050. It's a free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Sloman's Home Security System includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access so you can check in anytime from anywhere in the world. Okay, this makes a great Christmas gift for yourself, for your family in your own home. A great Christmas, 5 years at $24.95 a month, that's a good deal. A great Christmas gift for grandma, grandpa, your parents. A great Christmas gift for your adult children out on their own. Give Sloman's a call, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. Hey there, gotcha. All right, I'll put you. Yeah, I can hear you. Are you okay? Don't move too much though. Okay, hold on. All right, William, we have 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca for the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Metals continue to be range bound, trading gold finding good support at $4,000 and above, and silver at $50 and above. Right now, yesterday gold traded in a range of $4,055 all the way up to $4,133, and closed out today at $4,077, which was up $10.60. Silver gained 66 cents, closing out today at $51.28. Platinum was up $10 at $15.41. And palladium was down $7 at $13.71. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $4,039 all the way up to $4,100.